Hey, what's going on, guys? Z here. In this video I'd like to share some thoughts regarding a future potential project I'm about to start working on. I say potential because I'm not really sure if I'm really about to take that or not. I'm really tempted, but really lots of things are remaining unclear still at the moment. So without further ado, let's actually go straight ahead to the idea. So as you could have already kind of like guessed from the title of this video, I'm thinking about forking Stockfish chess engine. And before anything else, like just to give you an idea, so I call myself Xiangqi PGN, right? And that means that what I used to do all of my life basically is proof of concept implementations with a didactic approach in mind basically. So I'm trying to write a very simple code that is easy to understand, easy to follow. So it's more like the format of a tutorial. So if you have a look at my repositories, I have opened everything, but not my own repository section on GitHub. So if you have a look at the number of repositories, so it's I have only maybe 2 or 3 forks. All the rest of the projects are all kind of like those I've done on my own. So it's not only chess engines that I did really lots of stuff before, and yeah, so really lots of stuff here to consider. And you can see that the amount of work I've done so far is quite pretty significant. But again, like it's all like it's more like prototypes. I would call them prototypes, right? Just showcasing some specific part of programming, I don't know, of some ideas, whatever. And exactly the same regards to the chess engines as well. So for those of you who has been following this chess programming channel, you've seen that I've made a few chess engines already when this channel actually existed, and I made a few before this channel existed. But anyway, it's not the point. The point is that Stockfish is somewhat completely, totally another level compared to what am I doing. So it's kind of like the best ever stuff within the niche that you could have come up with. And when I had a look at the source code of Stockfish for about 5 years ago, it was really so complicated that I couldn't actually understand a single line of code there. But surprisingly, recently I had a look at search CPP file of the current version of Stockfish. And what surprised me really, so first of all, so really nice command seems to be appearing. On the other hand, even some explanations, and the code seems to be really simplified and much cleaner compared to how it was, let's say, 5 years ago. And I guess that the reason for that is because really lots of people are working on the project, hence it has gained the form of this like well written clean form, so other people could just kind of dive in, step in, join the project, and start contributing just right out of the box without much preparation basically. So a little bit of a downside is that it's actually written in C++. Well, I'm totally fine with C programming language, but with C++, things like namespaces and templates is something that confuses me a little bit. And also the way object-oriented stuff done in C++ with all its dynamic memory management is a little bit too overwhelming for me, because I do have a big experience with object-oriented stuff, but in Python, in JavaScript, not in, well, in JavaScript there are no really classes, but the object-oriented concepts are definitely present there. So I'm fine with the concepts, but I'm not really that clear how it works in particular in C++. But again, like this is just a language, and the language itself doesn't really matter that much. So one of the reasons of considering Stockfish is actually to get a little bit more familiar with the C++ itself. So again, like if it was just a matter of trying to create the strongest engine in the world, I would just take the seaport of Stockfish, which is called Seafish, and I could have just started to work straight ahead. But that's not the point, really. And getting familiar with the C++ is one of the reasons for me to start with this, basically. And now another interesting thing. So, like it always happened, like it often happens when some sort of a thought comes into your head, it turns out definitely that you're not the first guy who actually thought about this. And the idea of creating Stockfish that I'm sorry, guys. So the idea of of creating Stockfish that actually plays Chinese chess CNC is already implemented. So not only I'm not only the guy who had this thought in his head once. There are at least 2 projects, very solid projects, I need to say, that already do implement this Chinese chess, the Stockfish that actually plays Chinese chess. So maybe there are more, but these 2 I'm familiar with, and these 2 are those I've been talking to the authors of both engines, and that was really exciting. So the first one is Fairy Stockfish, written and maintained by Fabian Feature. I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. So Fabian, if you're watching this, and if I did pronounce your last name in the wrong way, I'm sorry for that. And another author is Wilbert Lee, and his Chinese name is Hao Li, if I'm not mistaken, if Google Translate didn't fool me. So I had a conversation with both of them. So with Fabian, we had a discussion on Reddit. Surprisingly, I didn't even think about this. I made a video on configuring Fairy Stockfish to play a game in my own GUI I've developed using Electron.js. Again, like, it sounds like something cool, but on the real deal is yet another proof of concept stuff to consider. So just yes, I do play games versus 2 engines in the GUI, but that's not really that great as it could seem, basically. So just another prototype, just another proof of concept that I do and drop, and I can maintain it, because when you kind of like putting something in, the initial goal is really it really matters. And what I put there was again, like proof of concept didactic stuff. So with this stance in mind, as soon as you have this proof of concept and didactic prototype, nothing really much to add there. So that's one of the major issues, basically. But anyway, let's not focus on that, basically. So what else I want to say is that it's really fun that 2 projects that are actually doing that as kind of like, it's seemingly doing the same thing. So trying to adopt Stockfish chess engine to play Chinese chess, but they do this in a completely different manner, and the approaches are totally different. So just a few words about Fairy Stockfish, because again, like when you just read through this README file, it's one thing, but when you talk to the author, it's totally different. So Fabian is extremely nice guy, and what's the gist essence of what he told me? And actually, he kindly pointed out to one of the interesting issues available within the Fairy Stockfish. So he had a request from someone guy here who was thinking about to have who wants to have. Can you please create a CNC version from Stockfish? So, or can you suggest me steps to do it? So that was the request. And I really enjoy the answer by Fabian. So he says, like, hi, as you mentioned, I previously had created multiple Stockfish forks for different variants. So this is the gist essence here, guys, so pay attention, please. So he had Macrook, Shatranj, S-Chess, and Musketeer Chess variants. So these were kind of like standalone forks, and all they are available on Fabian's GitHub account. I saw them; they are there. You can check them out as well. However, it quickly became apparent that adding forks for new variants, or even just maintaining the all existing ones, becomes impracticable because it multiplies the required effort. So the problem that Fabian actually faced was he just really didn't have enough time to maintain all the variants. And you can read this on your own. Basically, just go to Xiangqi Stockfish issues 230. And the idea is that actually he decided to make a single project containing all the variants. And the trade-off is that on the one hand, you can maintain all the variants all together in one project, but the downside is that every single variant in particular can be that strong as if you were developing it in separate. And here he says, like, so from my perspective, there are no really easy steps to creating a dedicated Stockfish fork, but you could, of course, try to take some thin, like 128-bit board, magic bit boards for Canon, etc. from Xiangqi Stockfish. There also have been previous attempts to make Stockfish fork for CNC, and this is another major effort by Wilbert Li, by Hao Li in Chinese, this chameleon chess engine, which is derived from Stockfish 7. So we'll get to this also. So yeah, and here and here however, from my perspective, although the gains from speed improvement will be big, implementing training an NEV for CNC can potentially result in vastly bigger plane strand improvements. Is my okay. So he would rather focus on evaluation rather than the search. So, but anyway, the overall idea behind, so I was trying to get from Fabian what's the prior goal of what is he or what he is doing basically, and I realized that he's not interested in a specific variant in particular, but instead he wants, well, actually he asked me to read the README file of Xiangqi Stockfish, and there is a single sentence actually explaining his entire kind of like his entire goal behind the project. So I just really want to read you this, guys. So here it is. So the goal of the project is to create an engine supporting a large variety of chess-like games equipped with a powerful search of Stockfish. So what he wants to take this powerful search of Stockfish and just make it searching for different variants. So that's it. Despite its generality, the plane strength is on very high level in almost all supported variants. Due to its multi-protocol support, Xiangqi Stockfish works with almost any chess variant GUI. So yeah, that's pretty it. That's the goal of the project. And regarding the goal of the project, say so seemingly the same stuff. So Hao Li is not trying, he actually did it already. So he does a dedicated fork of CNC engine, well, this time it's derived from Stockfish 7, so it's a little bit outdated, but it's not really the point here. So Chameleon is a free, powerful, you say, chess engine, also called CNC, derived from Stockfish 7. It's not a complete chess program. Okay, so this is it in order to read the documentation. So yeah, and here we don't see any specific project goals basically. But I just I don't know, like a couple of hours ago basically. I had an interaction with Hao Li via email, and I was actually asking him if he's interested working on a dedicated Stockfish fork, what is his project is all about, so and so on. And I don't know if I'm allowed actually to show you the current email. Well, probably without asking his permission, I probably won't be going for that. But I think I can tell what it was all about in my own words. So the idea, so what Hao Li wants to do, and he still works in this project, by the way. So what he wants to do he wants to exactly copy all the steps that the original Stockfish did, and one of the major things is the testing framework. So there is fish cook, or I don't know, there is, how that called, so there is the cloud framework for Stockfish, so you can just submit the patch you've made, and then it gets tested in the cloud, and then if it makes sense, the commit that the patch you're trying to submit is actually getting so the pull request is getting submitted, otherwise not. So that's the way how the development goes. And if you're interested in the process itself, you really should check out the videos by Daniel Dugovic, who is one of the contributors for Stockfish, but also he made several videos on how he makes patches for, well, actually he makes patches for his own multivariant Stockfish, which is similar to fairy Stockfish in its nature. But the interesting thing in his videos is that he's actually using this cloud system for testing. So that's very interesting stuff. That's a little bit of a rocket science to me personally, but yeah. And actually, Howley wants to do exactly the same thing, and he told me in the email that he actually did some sort of some similar thing for Chinese chess. But as far as you don't have money to deploy this, and again, like not so yeah, Chinese chess test. This is it. A distributed task with for testing CNC engine. So this should be derived from the original Stockfish's sort of a thing. So yeah, so automatically connects to the server, downloads, checks opening book. Okay, so and the site is down, if I'm not mistaken. Really, it was down when I checked that out recently. So yeah. So this is another approach. Anyway, it doesn't matter then, it doesn't work. So it's another approach. It's kind of like the matter of trying to do what the original Stockfish did. So you see, like, and again, like the next thing I would really like to show you guys is the discussion at that issue. So let's just close unnecessary tabs. I would only leave the Stockfish here. So theory Stockfish. Yeah. So let's go to the issues again, and this new CNC project. And the discussion is really interesting, and the discussion is also really, it's showing the difference in the approaches of Fabian and Howley. So I have this very nice, yeah, this is it. Well, so he says that his fork is actually stable, but it doesn't matter really. And here interesting thing starts. So then answer why other authors are not involved in the project. So almost no one in the team updates the code related to CNC. Variant test will not test CNC for 10,000 years. A little bit of a pissed off here, I believe. Okay, bitboard speed is extremely slow, much slower than array board, which should be everything large board should consider, but no one actually handles it. So it's the matter of it's a downside of having multiple variants within the single fairy Stockfish implementation. So just too slow for the particular CNC variant. Due to support a large number of variants, the structure of code, this is essential, guys. Due to the large number of variants, the structure of code is extremely complex. Pull one and move the whole body. Supporting so what he suggests is just to pull one and move the whole body. So just like it's really on the contrary. So what Howley does and what Fabian feature does. So everything bundled into a single engine, or working on a separate variant in separate. So that's the difference. Supporting lots of variants doesn't have any advantage in any way. And this is the core misunderstanding between these two authors. And the response by Fabian is really interesting. So let's just get done with Hao Li's opinion at this point. So in fact, it's best to have a separate set for each variant so that it's easy for everyone to modify and contribute the code. Back to Xiangqi, although we know and have tested that Xiangqi version of NNU is much stronger than Xiangqi version of LilaChess 0. Oh my god, they have the Xiangqi version of LilaChess 0 already. Can you believe it? We will not do it. Xiangqi is complex, which is different from chess, which can be seen from middle game and the end game. And yeah, this is the very now this answer by Fabian is also very interesting. So let's read through this. So what does that mean? Okay, so it's about the release, doesn't matter. The Xiangqi related code doesn't get updated and tested, but due to supporting so many variants, it might not be that regularly. So one of the core answers, so because we have many variants, it's not that easy to support a single variant. The team, now this is my favorite, guys. The team is currently basically only me. So Fabian is the only guy doing Xiangqi Stockfish. Can you believe it? The team currently basically is only me. Therefore, I unfortunately only have very limited time to improve individual variants. So he just answers why it happens. So it's not like some discrimination for Xiangqi within the Xiangqi Stockfish. Not at all. Just the matter of limited amount of time that Fabian has. Okay, so let's go further on. So Bitboard is extremely slow and so on. So yes, it is slow. If you have a proof of concept that shows that this can be easily improved, that would be very welcome. So it says like if you have something better, just share and we'll try to make use of it. One reason to stick to Bitboards is the compatibility with official Stockfish, since I regularly merge upstream changes, which is much easier when using the same kind of data structures. So this is another, like this stuff is really crucial, by the way. So what I was mentioning regarding the array-based board representation. So one of the major downsides is that there won't be that easy merge of the upstream changes in the official Stockfish, because all those changes would be relying on the actual existing data structures, which do involve bitboards. And in case, so yeah, the matter of updating and synchronizing with the official Stockfish in case of array-based board representation would be an incredible pain. So that's one of the things I really should keep in mind when actually taking a decision on what in particular am I supposed to be doing and why especially. Okay, so the next thing, so due to support large number of variants, the structure of code is complex, but we want the whole body. Yes, the code base is somewhat complex. I try to separate logic and concerns as much as possible, but some complexity unfortunately is hard to avoid when supporting so many features and variants. So again, like it's absolutely self-explanatory. So supporting lots of variants doesn't have any advantage in the way. And this is so cool, guys. You just read it. That very much depends on the goal. And this is the core difference between the goals of Fabian and Howley. So if your goal is to create the strongest possible engines for one single game variant, I perfectly agree that having a dedicated engine is the way to go. However, if your goal is to create an engine that can play a large amount of games at a very high level, creating and maintaining a large amount of separate engines is not efficient or even practicable. Practicable, right? Since I play chess, shogi, Xiangqi, and many other variants, this is why a multivariant engine appeals to me. Whereas if you're only interested in a single one of those games, writing a dedicated engine, of course, makes much more sense. So, literally, how I understand this answer is that there are no kind of like possibilities for the cooperation between Xiangqi Stockfish and this chameleon chess engine, because the goals are totally different. Hence, the philosophy behind the concepts implemented in code to make them playing games is also completely different, and so on, so on, so on. So yes, many other interesting things here. And I want one more. Well, hold on a sec. However, yeah, and this one, the last I read. So he says to Howley that I developed this project for fun and in the hope it would be useful, and constructive criticism is always welcome. However, in my opinion, there is not much point in questioning the most fundamental goal of the project. So, yeah, that's it. That's the core gist, basically. So, no matter what you think, but actually questioning the most fundamental goals of whatever project is really out of question. Because if the guy wants to do some stuff he wants, then and someone else says that it sucks for another goal, so you just basically start a new project, and that's probably the way to go. Because again, like with the multiple variants in mind, you can't be that good in every single variant. So it's always a trade-off. So multiple variants versus a single variant, and like it's always a trade-off, definitely. So I totally understand both kind of like opinions here, and it's extremely interesting to read through this post, basically. So I'll probably just give you a link to this issue so you could have a look at this on your own, guys. And now let's get back to the official Stockfish repository. So okay, I don't even know. So let's kind of like, I don't know, probably let's try to summarize what we've learned from this conversation so far. So it's incredibly important to have the initial goal, the clear initial goal of not even what one would like to have eventually as the end result. No, not even this, but rather what sort of a process and what sort of approach, what kind of path is about to be considered by a developer when he starts a certain project. So that's kind of like apparently the most crucial thing. And for me personally, it's really hard to say why do I want to do this. Well, I've mentioned that getting familiar with the C++ and things like that, but it's not the major stuff. So I can say that what I'm not really looking for. So I'm not looking for this official Stockfish like complicated testing, which Stockfish is really famous for. So for me personally, the Stockfish's code base is the matter of is an opportunity of getting familiar with a sophisticated code base where I can try to start kind of living within, where I can try to integrate my skills. I don't know. So just try to get familiar with the code base. Just trying to, I don't know, like. Just it's just interesting to work with the Stockfish's code, because in the past I really didn't have enough skills and courage to actually kind of start tinkering with the Stockfish's code. So I think actually tinkering is the very correct word to describe one of the initial goals of why I'm actually want to do this. So I really want to start tinkering with the code, but to give this tinkering a little bit more of a sense, it's really interesting to try to come up with a custom mode generator basically. So yeah, so trying to come up with a custom mode generator. So I don't even know. So yeah, I just read that actually violating the data structures and avoiding using bitboards would really lead to a trouble with synchronizing with the official version of Stockfish, which means that most likely it would just stuck at where it is now. So let's say whatever how to call it, man, whatever commit I take as a base, in that case, if I just violate the data structure, my engine would stuck to that commit, and Stockfish would go further on, and my project would get stuck at this sort of a state. But on the other hand, as far as I don't really have ambitions to make the strongest engine in the world, yeah, it would be really nonsense to me at least. So I don't even know how to define this properly. And yeah, so you know, I thought that I would be able to define the goal by the end of this video. And yeah, so I thought, yeah, but I think that I'm not really ready yet to say that. So well, for now, let's make this historical kind of stuff. So let's actually, as the title of this video states, let's fork the Stockfish itself. So just say git clone and fork it. I'm not even gonna be building this right now at the moment. Just to prove the title of the video basically, and start tinkering and probably making some videos on that as well. So yeah, that might be making some sort of a sense. Okay guys, hold on a sec, I just wanted to say something else. But it seems like I totally forgot that. Okay, so just recalled my thoughts. So one of the biggest problems with Chinese chess community, if we can use this word, is actually the lack of community. And I don't know, probably it's the nature of Chinese mentality at some point. So I had a few conversations with Chinese people and developers as well, by email mostly. And you know, like when someone from China is actually doing something, it really looks like it just takes his own little niche and he says like, this is my destiny and I'm gonna be doing this literally until I die. And he's really closed to the outer world. This definitely has really big benefits, and I'm not ever about to be criticizing this, because at very least I am myself, I share exactly the same philosophy, to be honest. And the fact that I'm widespreading what I'm doing on YouTube doesn't actually change the fact that what I do is absolutely same closed stuff basically. Even though it's open source, you can watch the videos and you can talk to me. But anyway, I really have, as one of my friends said like Comac, again, you have a very narrow interface to interact with you, man. So that's that's really true, because yeah, it's like if someone's trying to interact with me outside of this kind of like narrow interface, it doesn't work basically. So it's everywhere. It's for my subscribers, for my clients as well. So for developers I'm collaborating with, doesn't matter if this is the open source projects or paid commercial projects. So it's all about this narrow interface. So I'm not ever to be criticizing the Chinese approach to this, because I share exactly the same approach. But the problem is that with this approach, we don't have, today I got the information from at least two Chinese sources, that there is no, currently at the time when this video appears, there is no CCRL-like rating list that would keep tracking of Chinese chess strength, basically. So CCRL stands for Computer Chess Rating List. That's the list having, well, if not all the available chess engines in the world, then at the very least, really lots of chess engines. It's really hundreds of chess engines are there, but there is no such a list for Chinese chess, believe it or not. And if, let's say, we talk about the GUIs, it's exactly the same. There is no standard GUI. So people on the West using Winboard or Xboard, people on the East using software that is written in Chinese. Well, it's not in Chinese. Chinese is not programming language, but they have that has a Chinese interface, and it's again like not really usable for Western developers. So it's totally unclear on how to actually test the engines. So it's not even the question of that we don't have like servers to host that CCRL like stuff, but it's just a matter of not even having the standard software for testers, basically for those who are not developers, who just like someone who is addicted to Chinese chess, who wants to kind of like open the GUI, connect to engines and play a match between them, but he can't do it because it's not really clear like how to do this, because at very least the communication protocols are really vague. So yeah, we have UCI, we have UCCI, but again, like even the chameleon itself, it's UCI, it's not UCCI. Okay, well at very least how it states within the repository itself. Okay, and yeah, so that's kind of it. Fairy Stockfish seems to be, yes, it does support the UCCI protocol, but again, like, so, and actually I did manage to play Fairy Stockfish versus Chameleon in my own GUI, but again, like, I just remember when I just started developing my Okun CNC, it was really unclear, like, there are no standards, and everyone is actually making things on his own. So, yeah, that's kind of the problem. And I can't really say in concrete what kind of goal do I have with this sort of a project. But I would say that this project itself is not really the goal itself. And the reason behind stepping into Stockfish's code base for me personally is the matter of stepping into the community development. Because what I'm doing on my own is only proof of concept didactic prototypes that are not really to no much sense to contribute to them, because they are done to serve just to demonstrate the purpose of the demonstrations of one or another feature, and not really for a wide range of users. Okay, that's the problem of my software. It's really like demo versions. It's more like a portfolio that I'm using to showcase to my clients and getting the job after, and this works like a charm. This works perfectly well, but again, like it's not really that great from the open source software perspective in terms of usability by the big amount of people. And with this Stockfish code base, I really hope to teach my own self to get into this spirit of the community development, of the development within the community as a part of a community. And probably the goal is actually to make it easy for people to join the project, right? So probably I could have used my skills of simplifying things just to make this Stockfish's code base even easier, so others could have kind of like step in, and also not be sticking to Stockfish testing framework, even though it's kind of like what Stockfish is known best for. It's not even the engine itself, but the way how they test, how lots of people contribute in the processing power to run all of those tests. But I think that's not the major thing really, because if you're the only guy who is doing that, what's the sense, right? It's not the sense of, so why Stockfish is that great? It's not because it's strongest engine in the world. It's because so many people are getting united together into a single community around that. I think that's the main goal. And yeah, and again, like the same stuff for the GUIs for GUIs as well. So I'm still thinking about some unified GUI for testing. So again, like it's really hard to settle all this stuff in my head, but I just really try, guys. I really try to share my ideas, what is in my head currently regarding this Stockfish code base, this environment, and regarding the potential goals of the project that I'm about to start. So I have no idea how it goes, because really it goes usually completely different compared to what you thinking how it should be. So we'll see. And if I'm ever about to come up with some sort of interesting results, I would definitely share these results with you guys. So that would be possible to kind of like, I don't know. So that would be possible to make use of that, basically. Yeah, right. I think that's the case. Just that would be possible to make use of that. Okay, guys. So this is it from my side. I'm sorry for such a long video, but I'm really interested to get some feedbacks of you. I know that most of you don't really care about Chinese chess at all, but for those who do care about Chinese chess, I'm extremely interested to listen to your thoughts regarding what I've just said, regarding all these projects with the Chinese chess development in general. So this is it from my side. Again, like, thanks for watching. Until the next time, and take care.